My name's Kenny Brown. I live outside Moneymore, farm between Moneymore and Coke. Farm roughly 170 acres. Some of it's set out, but farm the most of it. We have suck cows here. 3 or 4 years ago I was talking to Alan, and I had a wee project coming up where there was an opportunity to improve the water quality going to the river, so got talking to him, and he, along with Ballinderry Rivers, helped us put it into practice, so that's where we're at. Potentially any dirty water comes from the yard above us, comes down on a drain under our feet, comes to a box here, and then turns off into an underground stoned area where the comfrey is planted on top of it. It goes down and soaks up the nutrients. So this is where all the magic happens in here. I'll let Alan explain more.
So as Kenneth says, the dirty water comes in this pipe just beside you, and we can divert this other water coming down. That's coming from St Patrick's Well. So the pipe then going in this direction goes straight down the centre of 6 rows of comfrey, and when it starts to grow in the spring, you can see the 2 rows of comfrey on top of the dirty water trench is growing faster than the rest. So then, because this was like a swampy area, you can see the bumblebees on the comfrey here, great for pollination. So this was a swampy area that Kenneth had made into like a wildlife pond for ducks and snipe. So we were able to shape this project in this area. So the dirty water goes down a pebble trench, and it's held there for as long as possible with a check dam at the far end of it. So the idea is, instead of getting rid of water as quickly as we can, we're trying to hold it back for as long as we can to allow the tap roots of the comfrey, which are supposed to go down between 3 and 6 metres. So the dirty water is travelling 1 metre deep down this plot, but the comfrey roots are going way down below that, pulling up the nutrients and the minerals, and we're told then that those nutrients are shared with the rest of the plants. And you can see Dawkins and nettles doing very well here, but the magic's happening right round the system. There's comfrey planted right round an open swale at the end of this plot, and then any water that's left goes back to the drain that takes it to the river. This pole here depicts the depth that the comfrey root goes down. So from here up would be the height of the comfrey plant. Then you have about 1 foot of topsoil. You have a pipe travelling carrying the dirty water, and the bottom of the trench is here, and the comfrey root goes right to the ground. So that kind of shows, if you shoved that pole straight down until this was at our feet, that's what's going on vertically. The fishery in Lough Neagh fits in with the farming along the Ballymully River here. So going back, I'm told that the ice pushed the gravel and sand up against the sperrins. So from Moneymore to Cookstown, right over to Carrickmore, there's hundreds of feet deep of gravel like this, which is absolutely ideal for salmon or dolphin to spawn in. So going right back to the same period when the ice retreated and trout came in from the sea and occupied Lough Neagh, so that gene pool of dolphin, as we call them, has been locked into Lough Neagh for 10,500 years, I'm told. So we arrived about 10,000 years ago. So I suppose the early people didn't farm, they fished for eels and salmon and dolphin. So the Lough Neagh is probably the richest lough in Ireland, and these are the richest gravel deposits in Ireland. So the dolphin were able to feed and breed in perfect conditions. The problem last year that we saw in Lough Neagh was that it's a bit too rich from the point of view that the blue-green algae thrives on the nutrients that come from domestic septic tanks, wastewater treatment works and farming. So these projects using comfrey to make sure the nutrients don't get away from a farm like Kennis is sort of completing the story and helping Lough Neagh. We're after doing a kick sample here at Ballagony Bridge, which is downstream of Kenny's farm, and there's plenty of shrimp here that get a score of 5 or 6 out of 10. There's also a few flathead nymphs, olive nymphs, that get a score of 10 out of 10, which augurs well for probably about upwards of 1,000 farms up around Slieve Gallion, between there and here. And this picture of the invertebrates is pretty good. The thinking behind the whole project was that instead of trying to do something with the blue-green algae in Lough Neagh and the problem, it should be upstream thinking, going and looking for the sources of the pollution at wastewater treatment works and farms, wherever you find it, and addressing that at the source. And I think we've demonstrated it well enough that we can do that. And I think the future is that more farmers like Kenneth will see how easy it is to keep the nutrients on the farm. And actually we're finding now that the nutrients in the trenches grow a bigger, better crop by 35%, believe it or not. So that's a win-win.